Instagram's live. 3, 2,
It's time to play the music. It's time to learn the lights. It's time to learn the lights.
Welcome to Pastersnaxx. I'm your host, Alex Pastersnaxx, and this show is Pastersnaxx, a quarantine cooking show designated to help those of you at home who don't really know how to cook, learn the basics, use everything in your fridge, and what you've hoarded as far as canned goods or pantry items. Today's episode is entitled Pastersnaxx Beans and Rice. We're just making beans and rice. These beans are canned beans. Let's start with the beans. In my cupboard this morning, I found multiple cans of black beans. They're not special. They're beans that come in a broth, sometimes salt in them, so you have to take that into consideration. And what we're going to do first is take out the taste of the can from the canned beans. This is what they call a can. You have to make sure it cuts in to the right of the can. I apologize for any left-handed people, like my girlfriend Allie. We open the can of beans. And again, these could be pinto beans, kidney beans. I wouldn't do that, but whatever kind of beans you want to take the canned flavor out. We're now going to rinse them just in water. Get all that canned grossness out. See that? All of the viscous juice is now gone. From this, we're going to get some garlic. I like to use a lot of garlic. Again, an easy way to get the skin off is to, I'll show it again more slowly. Take the garlic, take your knife, crush it with your palm, then remove the skin, and we're going to toss these in with the beans into a pot of boiling water. Here are the beans and the garlic. They're going over here into boiling water. Then we're going to leave them with some salt, maybe some chili flakes, for about 10 minutes. I'll show you. Be right back. Let's pretend those beans are in the water. Now we wait 10 minutes. Our next step is wash cilantro, cut the stems off, but not too much, because again, we like these stems. We're going to chop the cilantro. I'll show you something about chopping here as well. It's a pretty sharp knife. You want a sharp knife because dull knives are how you cut yourself, all your digits. For those of you, hang with me by the way, any chef friends that may be watching, we're starting with all the basics. You're going to curl your fingers in so when you chop, you don't hit any random digits. So I'm going to put them in like this, and the knife's going to slide against my knuckle. And you don't even have to look. Ah! Didn't happen because my knuckles are curled. So, see, you dice the cilantro nice and thin because this is going to go in our next ingredient, or our dish rather, which is taqueria rice. Some people call it Spanish rice. Some people call it Mexican rice. But I do know it's very similar to the rice you get at most taquerias, in California at least. All right, we have our cilantro. This is the rice I'm using, el mexicano. You can use whatever rice you like. I have to read this for you at home because the disclaimer is great. Suggestion, Grains are a natural product of the earth. Even with the highest attention and the best processing equipment available, we suggest to review the content carefully to remove any extra substance like small stones, etc. So I'm just glad we need a disclaimer to know how to cook our rice. Here's another ingredient for the rice. Tomato sauce, canned tomato sauce. If you don't have this, you can use any sort of marinara. But keep in mind, when we're doing rice, when we're cooking rice, it's 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. Pardon me. Math is so difficult. I need to put on my thinking hat. It's hard to make rice without your thinking hat. So whatever quantity of rice, you're going to double it with the water or liquid. So when I'm going to make 1 cup of rice, let's say half a cup of rice. Let's do that. Here's half a cup of rice. I'm going to put it into this hot pan with a tiny bit of oil. It's already in there. I'm going to toast the rice just until, I'm not sure how much time, maybe 5-10 minutes. No, that's 5-6 minutes. And we just want to toast it until it's slightly browned, because that's where you're going to get this toasty crispiness, right? In with that rice, we're going to add onions. Do I have onions? Probably. Right here in the fridge. Let's take out some things we're going to reuse today. What do we got here? Okay, red onion, yellow onion, and some grilled peppers. Here's the red. Here's the yellow. And here's the pepper left over from last week's lesson on salsa verde. We can use all these things. I'm going to use the pepper after to make a taco, and I'm going to use the white onion with the rice. Again, knuckles behind. Huh? And you get nice, even sliced onion. Doesn't really matter how thin. It's all going to cook down together in this sauce. So now we add onion. And keep it toasting. Let's say it's time for the beans. These beans have been in a pot of boiling water for 10 minutes or so with garlic, generous amount of salt, and maybe some chili flakes, and a little oil. I'm gonna bring them out here. I dump the pot, boosh, back into here, rinse them again, and then I'm gonna reapply the beans into the pot with some onions that have been grilling, a few dried chilies, which I'm gonna show you now. We have an assortment of chilies. I used Cilantro because it's more mild, mixed with some chile de árbol, which are pretty spicy. Because you don't want to blow anyone away with your Pastersnaxx beans.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do. You then stir them in and let these beans, where'd it go? Let these beans that you've already boiled with water to get the can taste out, garlic and salt. Now you're just going to let them cook down for about an hour. In those beans, we're going to add a few spices. Here's what I used. Bay leaves. Everyone knows bay leaves? Laurel? You don't want to use too many, as my friend Carter Adams once caught me doing, because then it'll only taste like bay leaf. I used 2 for the entire pot of beans. Cumin. I think I made the mistake last week of grinding cumin slow and assuming everyone might be able to grind the cumin, but I did mention ground cumin is okay. So you could use this, or I still have some left over from the salsa verde. We are reusing what we used in the last recipe. So I'm going to add some cumin. I already added the bay leaf. Also just going to put in pepper, basic salt, and Cilantro if you want, but I'm putting it in the rice, so I'm holding out for now.
How much cumin did you put in?
According to taste, again, there's no real recipe, but try it. If it's not enough, put in more next time. One thing you don't want to do is add spices at the end of a dish, because you can taste the difference when a spice is kind of thrown on top. It's something my dad told us growing up. I remember if we'd go to kind of a, like I would say like a Indian or Chinese restaurant where it was like yellow curry powder thrown in at the end. You could really taste the difference. My dad would always complain, saying, that's why we put these spices in with the onions and the oil at the beginning. Because it dissipates in the oil and it kind of encompasses your dish. So now the rice is getting pretty toasty here, if you can see. See, we're toasting the rice. I put in a quarter cup of rice, and so that's going to be half a cup of liquid. Where's our measuring cup? Here it is. So now, I have some rice in there. To make sure you don't put in too much liquid, put in your tomato sauce. Pardon me.
Getting compliments on the hat.
Like a hat? Pastersnaxx is a rip too. Any questions so far while I'm filling this up?
No questions yet.
No questions? Hit me with your questions, folks.
Encouragement to meld that spice.
Melt that spice. That's right. See, so now we have a little bit of water and a little bit of tomato sauce in there. Now I'm going to grab whatever we have in the fridge. Let's see. We have some bouillon. Doesn't look like any chicken broth. So I could use bouillon, but I know I have chicken broth in here somewhere. There it is.
Can you DJ while cooking?
That could be an interesting segment. Perhaps we'll do a full cooking course where it takes a 2-hour stew and we'll have a DJ set in between. Is that crazy?
No.
Here you go, half a cup of liquid, but the tomato sauce is in there before adding the rest of the liquid, so it doesn't go over, right? We're gonna add it here. Hear that sizzle?
But also, can you wash your hands for 20 seconds between each task?
Doesn't that seem counterproductive? Again, this kitchen, the Pastersnaxx kitchen is, right?
Yeah.
Then some salt. Kind of according to taste.
Salt, baby.
Remember, you could always put in more salt, but you can't take it out. A little bit of pepper.
Well, no, you just need to wash your hands between DJing and cooking.
Oh, got you. Thank you. Or does it make sense to sterilize the turntables?
Yeah.
Who's that comment by?
Laura June Kirk.
Hey, there you go. Gosh, just keeping it clean, Laura. God, you're keeping it clean. So you bring it to a boil, which it might be already. It is. And then you put it on extremely low heat. All right? And then we just wait, probably just like 10, 12 minutes. And the rice, this one we've already been cooking, is kind of this pretty, depending on what kind of tomato sauce you use, red to kind of dark. And you have fluffy taqueria rice.
That was fast.
That was fast. The beans, you've been letting go for a good hour, hour and 20. If you think it needs more time, if you think it needs more time, you can always add water and let it go. So then, here are the beans with the dried chilies. I really like cooking mine down. Oh, you know, I forgot one thing about the beans. The optional ingredient I left was some sort of pork product. I could not find any, but I had chicken sausage. So I added a tiny bit of chicken sausage because why go to the store right now when we could use what we have in the fridge? So these beans now are consistency somewhere between a whole and refried, but without having to refry them in the oil. You see the chicken sausage. Here are the 2 bay leaves that we could take out. Here's the chile de árbol. And the chile ancho has completely disintegrated, which makes it's also kind of tasty. These are all dried peppers, mind you. So there's our beans. I'm going to show you one last trick. before we serve a plate. This is a very basic trick, but again, we're starting slow. These are tortillas, corn tortillas. A lot of people put them in a pan with oil. The way that I did it growing up, though, in the Pastersnaxx kitchen in Martins Beach, California, was just putting them on low heat on the burner, right? You go a little higher heat if you're watching them. And then they get those cool like burner marks on them. And every few minutes, you're just gonna flip them, right? Then you'll have tortillas ready to go. Let's serve a plate. Let's get a tasty one here. And here we have the rice, taqueria rice. Pastersnaxx beans. I should give credit to Andrew Porter for labeling them Pastersnaxx beans before I figured out Pastersnaxx might be the official title. Then we're going to throw the tortillas on there once they're ready. I forgot one thing, which is I found some vegetarian chorizo. This could be normal chorizo. This could be anything in the fridge as well. This is what it looks like. It's a fake animal casing. It's plastic, probably. And then I grilled that with, leftover veggies that were going bad. Namely, zucchini and mushrooms. So here's a little vegetarian's chorizo, zucchini, and mushroom thing, right? I'm gonna put that on the side over here. I feel like I'm missing some steps on this one, but you know what I'm doing, right? We're doing okay here. Here are the tortillas. And this pepper we could chop up on the side. Why not? Some of this cilantro. And now, with last week's salsa verde, we have a taco station. Any questions? I'm here for your comments, questions, or heckling.
Everyone says it looks delicious.
All right. I think I skipped some steps, though. Maybe not. If anyone wants a more detailed version, I could always send it. So, here's taco station. Tortillas are ready. So, you want to make yourself a taco?
Yeah.
Let's go at it.
Any advice on the perfect rolling technique of your taco?
Rolling type, I think.
I guess that's a burrito.
Oh, yeah. We're talking burritos here? We're talking tacos. You know, bean and rice tacos are really simple and easy. I don't think you have to roll them. You could roll it if you want, but I would put the beans or rice as a base, a little bit of chorizo on top for flavoring. It's the same idea behind putting a pork product in the beans, just a little bit of flavoring, you know?
So we have someone asking, do you put the spice and everything nice in before you cook the rice and beans?
Is that a sugar and spice and everything nice joke? Yeah, I put it in all nice. Of course I do. And then, you know, your normal go-tos. If you want cheese, I have some queso panela you could see in my stories that we made. Yeah, a little bit of this, a little cilantro. And then I'm going to ask my lovely and trusting roommate and assistant, Sandy, to have a bite. Let me get you a plate. And that's Pastersnaxx. Hit me up with any questions or comments. I'm going to do another show on Thursday, and we'll continue to clean the fridge of all vegetables going bad, meats and dairy that are on the edge. And please hit me up with feedback or suggestions for how I can make this more entertaining. Bye.
Woo! Yay! I didn't know I was gonna make a cameo today.
Yeah, you're gonna cameo every time.